It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Saire Davis, the owner of many sports businesses. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you got started in the sports business world?
So I played football at Charleston Southern for 4 years, and immediately after I got done graduating, I just looked for more opportunities to find ways that I can continue to use the gifts that I was blessed with in the game of football. I do a lot of training, receiver training, because that's the position that I played all my life. And, ever since I got done playing, it just was kind of like something, me meeting my calling. I know that I'm very knowledgeable with the game and everything. And I just want to be able to pass down the information and insight that I have to the younger generation of athletes. So I got started. Honestly, I just got started, in June with training receivers here in the Atlanta area. It's just like I said, just with me finding my calling and something that I'm truly passionate about, and just love, giving life and helping these young kids and the younger generation of athletes develop their game.
What kind of stuff do you offer for your business?
So right now, I'm currently a wide receiver trainer. As I said, I train for speed, agility, hip mobility, footwork, the tangibles and technical things that wide receivers need to have. That's the stuff that I provide. And I also am a professional speaker. I speak to student athletes as well. I speak to churches, youth organizations, schools, and I'm also almost an author. My book is on its way out. So that's just who I am, and that's what I provide for my business.
What can my listeners look forward to reading in your book that's going to come out?
Definitely how to deal with trials and tribulations, and how to use those trials and tribulations for your greater good. Because me growing up, I never was a kid that had it easy, or had an easy road, or had an easy journey. So when people read my book, they'll be able to understand that, if I can make it through all the situations that I've went through, with my biological father not being in my life ever, me growing up in a rough neighborhood, me being on drugs at an early age, me having, many, many struggles. Life is a struggle. Life is an uphill battle. So when individuals come to my book, I want people to be motivated and inspired and engaged, that you can accomplish some amazing things, and that you're not put on this earth to be a casualty, because God, has some amazing things for all of us. And he called us to do some amazing and magnificent things. And so when people read my book, it's a guarantee that they're going to be motivated and inspired, and just enthusiastic to attack life with 100% of their best ability, and wake up each and every day and want and desire to be their best version of themselves.
That's wonderful. Can you talk about your podcast, The Road to Success?
Oh, absolutely, man. So I started the podcast here, in quarantine. I honestly looked at quarantine as a blessing. Sometimes people look at, bad things and as losses, but I try to look at, bad things as a blessing, because I don't believe in negativity. I believe it's a disease. I don't believe, in negative things. So during quarantine, I started the podcast simply out of just wanting to impact, and be positive to this world during these trying and challenging times. On the podcast, I interview other entrepreneurs, I'm sorry, other like-minded individuals, athletes, like I said, business owners, other individuals that that I know that have a voice, and that that I know that's going to be successful with the work that they're doing and the work that God called them to do. So like I said, I started the podcast in quarantine. simply because like I just want to be, some positive energy into this dark world. Like I want to be that light. When somebody comes to my podcast, I want individuals to come to my podcast, whether you're having a rough day, somebody done tick you off, you done had a breakup in your relationship, your business not going well, things not going well, life not going well, school not going well. I want to be that individual that give you some hope, because I done been through some trying and challenging times, in my past. Like I said, my biological father never been in my life. The many struggles that I had growing up in a rough neighborhood, lights being off every holiday, many nights without food. So I want to be that individual that really connects to society, and really not just, just give somebody inspiration, but I also want to give people like practical steps and practical tools that they can use to like change their mindset, develop their confidence. So that's really why I started the podcast. And mainly I titled it Road to Success Podcast, simply because of the fact that, success is always under reconstruction. Like it's a road, it's a journey. The people that I interview, I want to be able to see them accomplish some amazing things and come back 5 to 10 years from now and be like, yo, like that stuff you spoke about on my podcast, you actually went and did it. And you actually went and achieved it. So I want to be, just bring on examples to other individuals that like, yo, like if you say something and you really believe and you believe in your vision and you believe in yourself, most importantly, you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to, because I'm honestly a walking proof and a walking testament of that.
That's wonderful that you give a platform to them.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about your wide receiving training and how you got started and what you do?
Okay, so like I said, I got started here honestly just in June. It was something that I always wanted to do, but I am not even gonna lie, like I was fearful to get started with it. I was fearful to do it just simply because I was in my own head, right? Like sometimes we be, caught up in our own thoughts and caught up in our own feelings when we already got the gifts and talents. We just got to act on them and execute on them. So I got started here, honestly, June this month, fresh out of quarantine. It was another one of those things that was a blessing to me, that was brought out of quarantine. I got started with one kid here in the Atlanta, Kennesaw area. And like I said, what I do, man, we work on footwork, hip mobility, routes, releases, hand-eye coordination, blocking, the technique of a wide receiver. Like I done seen some amazing things as a Division I wideout. Like I done played against some amazing cornerbacks, guys that have played for Florida, guys that have been first-round draft picks, guys that have played for Alabama. Like I've played against some amazing defensive backs. So the skills and tangibles that I've learned as a Division I wide receiver, I instill it back into my athletes. And I also don't just want them to develop into great athletes. I also, push and inspire and lead them to develop them into wonderful young men.
How has being on the Division I level helped you in your wide receiver training process?
Man, not even I'm gonna go a little bit deeper, even deeper than that. Not even just like, just helping me as a trainer or what I do with my business. Um, but it is helped me as a man, because like a lot of the challenges and stuff that I've had to face as a Division I student athlete, some of those same challenges are still occurring in my day-to-day life. Now that I'm not playing ball, and now, it's running a business now. Now it's not playing ball. So I have to like, what I'm saying, just dealing with adversity, dealing with, tough times, just dealing with like struggles, learning ways to how to take, adversity, like I said, how to take adversity and actually use it and actually produce it into something meaningful and something powerful.
Are some of the routes that you help your athletes with, are they some of the routes that college teams use? Like, for example, whenever you went to Charleston, are you using some of the plays from Charleston in the routes that you help with the videos that you do?
Absolutely. I try to tell my kids all the time, like, don't be one dimensional. And what I mean by that is, like, you don't want to just be a good, like, you don't want to just be fast, right? Like, you don't want to just have good feet. You want to have every dimension to your game. Like, you want to be well rounded. You want to have great feet. You want to run great routes. You want to have great hands. You want to be a great blocker. Like you want to be great at every aspect. Simply because of the fact that you're gonna play against defensive backs. Like some of them gonna be like real talk. Like some of them gonna be better than you. And this is what I instill in my kids. Like some of them gonna be better than you. Like you're not gonna be better than everybody that you face. But it's certain tools in your tool belt that you have to be able to easily, pull out of your belt. Simply because of, like I said, like cats gonna be better than you, defenders gonna be better than you, and you got to be prepared and already equipped, for that battle. Because like out there playing receiver, like it's a battlefield. It's you versus the DB. So like if you have not prepared for everything, then when the game gets here, you're not going to be prepared for everything that he throws at you. Because I tell my guys all the time, they training as well. Like the defensive backs, the guys that you going against, they train. Everybody train in the offseason. So like what you got to make sure you're working on everything. So we don't just work on, one or two routes. I try to make my guys work on everything. I try to give them, I throw wet balls at them. We train in the rain. Like we do it all. We train in the mud. We train in messed up fields. Because what I'm doing with that, I'm not just training their physical and athletic ability. I'm also training their mindset, training their grit, and training how not to let outside factors determine how good of an athlete and, most importantly, how good of a person you are.
How did you go about making the videos for the workout videos on your YouTube channel?
Honestly, man, with me, it's just a calling and passion of mine. I know that I'm a personality. I know that people laugh at me a lot, and I like just being me, man. I'm a silly, goofy dude. Like I joke around 24/7. Like it's never like a dull moment with me. Simply because of the fact that I like to have fun, but I also like to work hard as well. But working hard ain't nothing if you can't enjoy it. So that's why I like to put those videos out just so people can see like the process of everything, the day-to-day operations, how much fun we having, how we really getting better. So that's pretty much why that's how I go about putting up things on YouTube. Like is it engaging? Like is it fun? Is it showing my brand, my business? Is it showing the work that we do? Is it highlighting what I wanted to highlight? And that's a great strong brand, integrity, hard work, and excitement and fulfillment.
What advice would you give upcoming football wide receivers?
What did you say?
What advice would you give upcoming football wide receivers?
Oh, that's a good question, man. I wouldn't give them. I can go on day. I can go all day about this topic right here. So I'm gonna try to keep it brief. But one of the main things that I would say is make sure, like, what I'm saying, you developing great footwork and great hip mobility. Because sometimes, like a lot of times, like guys be too worried about being fast and being quick instead of like not being intentional with their quickness and not understanding how to use their speed. And what I mean by that, essentially I'm speaking on body control. Like it's one thing to be really fast and quick, but if you can't control your body by having bad feet and having tight hips, like you're not going to be a good receiver. Like you have to have great fluid hips, great quick feet, while simultaneously being in control of your body. Like you look at any great wide receiver in the NFL, like you name them, like Julio Jones, Odell, the greatest route runners in the league, the Jerry Rices, like all of those guys, any great wide receiver that you can think of, they all were extremely in control of their bodies simply because they had great feet and they had great hip mobility. And like lastly, man, one of the main things that I really would want to tell a receiver like coming up, like you got to develop like your mindset. Like you can't just be a great athlete and have a light switch mentality is what I call it. Like a lot of guys are great athletes, but they don't really work hard. Like they really think that sometimes they're gonna be able to just cut the switch on and off. Like they practice when they feel like, they practice hard when they feel like it, they train when they feel like it, especially in the young generation. Like we see it a lot. Like a lot of guys want to go to Division I schools, but like you got to make them work out. Like you got to make them put in extra work. So I would just like mainly try to instill like a strong mindset, because your mindset and your mentality is important, and it takes you way farther than the football will ever take you.
What advice would you give football trainers that are looking to get into football training?
Don't do it for the money. That definitely be my main. Don't get in it for the money, simply because of the fact, like, when you first start off, and like, I'm still not big. Like, I'm not big, but I'm growing. But I witness a lot of, like, I know a lot of people, do things for a dollar amount, and people miss their biggest opportunities and their biggest blessings because they got everything attached to a dollar amount. So what I would say is, like, don't get in it for money. Like, get in it if you're gonna get into the training business and wanting to train and help these athletes. Get in it because, like, it's a real calling and passion of yours. It's something that you're really trying to do to help these athletes. Because, like, with me personally, like, I can care less about how much money that I make from training these guys. Like, I got, for perfect example, like, and I'm not trying to brag or toot my own horn, but it's people that I have trained in the past for free. It's people that I train, that family don't have, certain circumstances, can't pay for training sessions. But I don't want that to be, the reasoning why an athlete don't develop. Because, like, I'm not in it for the money. Like, I'm really in it for the athlete's development. So that's my main thing. Like, don't get in it just for the money. And also, like, if you go get in it, you got to get in it. And what I mean by that, like, you can't just be, showing up to training sessions and thinking of drills at the top of your head. Like, you got to really, like, sit down and like, I be in my house sometime practicing the drills that I'm going, give to my kids. I walk through my house, participating in the drills. Like, okay, I don't like that drill, let me switch that up. And then when I get out, like, I sleep, eat, and breathe, training these kids. Because, like I said, I'm truly attached to their development. I'm attached to, their love and their passion for the game, and everything that I've had, I'm trying to instill it within them. So those are really the main things that I would tell somebody that's looking to, get into it.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Man, they find me everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, everything. All my handles are the same. YouTube, you can listen to my podcast. Everything is the same. If you just type in Saire, Saire Davis, I'm pretty not sure. Other individuals have that name. It's not many Saires on this planet. Thankfully, God blessed me with that name. So you just type in Saire Davis on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Road to Success podcast. You can type my name in as well, Saire Davis, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and that's pretty much how you find me. And I also have my website will be in the works. That should be getting done here soon. They'll be able to find me at SaireDavis.com.
Thank you again, Saire, for your interview, and best of luck in your football training business.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Saire, for your interview, and best of luck.
Absolutely. You too, man. Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.